Want?
I got to get going tonight.
You're going to get going. Okay. So in that case, I'm going to be talking about travel and some other stuff.
Excellent.
You're not, but I want to give you one last opportunity to explain to everybody if they already have a golf cart, if they live in a club, or if they manage a club or work in a club, how they can find out more about getting off the gas and getting off having to plug in and to get solar and get green. How could they find out more from you or hook up with you guys so that they can switch over to this great product?
Absolutely. So once you have an electric vehicle, any kind of electric vehicle, whether it's, a golf cart or a maintenance vehicle, whatever it is, you can go right to our website, which is rawpowerpro.com, rapowerpro.com. And you can order our panel right off the website. And it's a simple, easy solution. Like I said, if you have the roof on top, right, we just use the double stick Velcro. Velcro's right to it. Match up the two colors on the battery, and, you're good to go.
And it's not that expensive as well, right? I think I saw
really
maybe
not that expensive.
$795, I think I saw.
Yep. And that's our base unit, and that'll, power one normal size golf cart. We also have bigger panels for, larger electric maintenance vehicles and passenger carts.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen them with the big passenger ones, stuff like that as well.
And pretty soon these will also, we won't even have to drive them either, I guess. We'll just jump in and it'll like be having a chauffeur driving, they'll be automated like they're doing with the cars too. It's,
right.
Well, what I'm waiting for is for a professional to hit my shots for me, so I don't even have to do that. Then everything will be perfect. But maybe that's just going a little bit too far. But anyway, Mike, I really appreciate you coming down here and filling in everybody. Like I say, I've been waiting for this product for like 20, 25 years. And when I saw that you were involved with it, it was like, all right, we got to share this with the listeners, because certainly here in South Florida, this is the right product. And I'd say it's the right time, but it's way past the right time. It's been the right time for a long time, so it's about time, and I'm glad that you're bringing it to market. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Cinderella story, out of nowhere, a former greenskeeper now about to become the Masters champion.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole!
I rap fly, call me chocolate thunder, and I got good to go 4 strokes under. Get out the way if you wanna go play, cause I give it my all every single day. Have a lot of cash cause I sing my parts.
And we are back, and if your business needs industrial workers, or if you're looking for work, you gotta call Labor Finders. Labor Finders places for temporary or temporary to hire opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, hospitality, office clerical, and so much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near here in Boca Raton, they have offices in Homestead, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and in Jupiter. So if you need legal, insured workers, or if you're looking for work, call Labor Finders toll free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or just visit laborfinders.com. And we are back, and that's a little Mandolin Wind by Rod Stewart. And that's actually a little shout-out. That song is for a very old friend, the listener up in the New York area, the only mandolin player that I know of, my friend Dave. So that goes out for him. He's always listening. So a little treat for him. What we're going to do is pick up a little bit more on the golf news because, like I said, there's a bunch of golf news, and I want to cover all of it. It's a busy time right now for golf. So I figured, why not, right? A little bit of local news. The Honda Classic is just around the corner. We always have Ken Kennerly on the show. We probably will have him on in a couple of weeks to talk about it. He's the director of the tournament. It's February 19th through the 25th at PGA National. And the number 4 ranked player in the world, Justin Thomas, just committed. I know Rory McIlroy already committed. I'm sure they're waiting with bated breath for Tiger Woods. He's going to be playing out in California. I think in a week or so, and I'm sure he wants to see how he fares before he finally commits. But let's face it, this is his backyard, so I would expect him to play as well. Speaking of backyard, our backyard right here in Boca Raton is the Boca Raton Championship, and that is coming up even sooner. That is February 5th through 11th, and they've got a couple of commitments as well. Of course, defending champion, who I mentioned, I mention him almost every week, but he's a local Boca Raton resident, Bernhard Langer. Actually, I don't think he was the defending champion this week on the tournament, not necessarily on the Boca Raton Championship. John Daly, who I actually got invited to an event that he's going to be at Wednesday. All these guys are going to be up at the PGA show, so I'll be seeing them. But John Daly committed as well. So there's going to be some excellent caliber of players playing here. So I do advise that you all attend and support this great tournament right in your backyard. BocaRatonChampionship.com is the website for tickets, or you can also give them a call at 561-241-GOLF. So like I say, if you don't support these events, they tend to go away, and it does tremendous work in the community with the funds that they raise for local charities. So, all right, as I mentioned, PGA Merchandise Show, there's going to be a lot of talent up there. Just to give you an idea of some of the people that are going to be speaking, either at the stage that the PGA has. They have a forum stage for different folks to get up there and give some talks, but many of these famous celebrities are also going to be representing different companies that they are sponsored by in the booth. So just to give you an idea of the talent, they've got Davis Love III will be there, John Daly, Greg Norman, Lou Holtz, Ron Jaws Jaworski, Hank Haney, David Ledbetter, Jim McClain, Larry Rinker, Michael Breed. The list just goes on and on and on with the top talent from the golf industry. And there's always also some other people like Jaws from football or other sports, or actors, perhaps. Anybody that has an affinity to golf you may find. And obviously listening to them talk, or having an opportunity to talk one-on-one with some of these people, shake their hand, and just perhaps tell them that you're a fan is pretty cool. So I don't go overboard with trying to get autographs and things like that, like some folks do. The lines can be long. People are always trying to get things signed, but I just enjoy having an opportunity to say hello to somebody that maybe I've not had an opportunity to talk to before, but have admired their career, watched them on TV, and it's just kind of cool. So as I mentioned, I mean, getting an opportunity to go out to the golf show and try out the products and meet the people. And the other thing is the camaraderie for me. Being a member of the media, every year I get to see friends of mine that I've been seeing year after year after year. I have friends from as far away as Finland, for instance. There's one fellow that comes in every year from Finland, and boy, is he happy to get out of there in the winter. But it's just all the old gang. We all get together. We play a little bit of golf. We smoke a couple of cigars, have a drink or two. I will be playing on Monday in the annual Tour Edge media event. Been friends with the folks from Tour Edge almost since their inception, which was probably just shortly before the 25 years ago that I started going to the show. Their exotics line, they'll have some new products that I'll get a chance to try out. But at their event, they also invite other companies to present to the media. So there's usually 10 or 20 companies. There'll be some apparel and some balls and bags and anything but clubs, of course, because that's what Tour Edge does. But rangefinders, lasers, GPSs, you name it, they will all be there. So just on Monday, before the show even begins, I will be trying out all sorts of neat products and meeting some people. On Tuesday, as I mentioned earlier, is demo day at Orange County National, so another opportunity to talk to about 300 different companies and test out their products. They have about 4 large putting greens there, as well as about 200 or 300 hitting bays. It's remarkable. Keep that to about a half a day. Let's see, Tour Edge, I'll be playing at Lake Nona, which is a pretty famous club up there. Playing one of the Disney golf courses on Tuesday afternoon. I'm not quite sure which one, but of course I'll report back to you on that as well. And then I will be at the show on Wednesday and Thursday all day, just checking out things. The show runs through Friday, but obviously I got to be here next Friday, so I will be taking off a little bit early so that I can share everything while it's still fresh with all of you. So, and I think that's what I got for golf talk. So I think what we're going to do is a very smooth transition over to some travel talk like we typically do. I try and divvy the show up kind of half and half, but for a while it's been a little bit more travel, but now that the show is on the horizon for the next few months, we're going to have a lot more golf stuff to talk about. But here's something that I saw in the news just today or yesterday perhaps, and I don't know if you've noticed it. I've certainly noticed it, but when you're flying on a plane, it seems that there are more and more animals. And I'm not talking about some of the unruly people. I'm talking about real animals. And obviously these are pets that are for support, whether it's for folks that have physical situations that they need the help, or these days even mental or emotional support animals are becoming very, very common. And a lot of people like myself are starting to wonder why all of a sudden there are so many of them. And I'm an animal lover, and I truly believe that people, bond with animals, and folks that have different situations can certainly benefit. But what's happening is that some of the flying public is starting to get a little bit upset, and they're starting to complain. There's been a few issues where pets have been wandering around in the planes, not staying where they're supposed to stay. There was a situation where one dog bit somebody on the face. They're soiling the carpet, on the plane. Things like that are starting to get a little bit out of hand, it seems. Beyond that, even, it seems that some folks are using these support animals, and it's not just dogs anymore. I saw situations where people are bringing miniature ponies, ducks, ferrets, you name it. They're all, and they were all protected under the law. But it seems that the airlines are starting to reach a point where they've had enough, and Delta just came out with a new bunch of rules because there are no federal regulations that are regulating this, and I guess the federal government doesn't have the ability to get it done right away. So Delta has decided that they're going to make anybody who wants to have one of these animals with them, they have to have a letter signed by a doctor or a licensed mental health professional stating that the passenger actually has a need for this animal, and also a letter that's signed stating that the animal is trained to behave without a kennel if it's going to be outside of a kennel on the plane. So, these are some early steps, and obviously they're going to see if this makes their customers happy or sad. Obviously the folks that want to bring their service animals, they may not be too thrilled, but other people who perhaps have issues. And, I mean, at my office, we just started a new situation where the policy is that people can bring with limitations their dog to work. And we're just kind of putting our toe in the water because, we understand that happy workers are good workers, and people who are separated from their pets, especially if there are certain circumstances where the pet, maybe is older or ill, or there's nobody home to take it out or whatever. So we're kind of allowing, maybe one day a week, one dog coming in. But trust me, we were concerned when you start down that road. Well, what if people bring 5 dogs in and then they bring their python in, or, something else? And what if somebody is allergic to the animal who works there? Or, there can be issues. So you really got to look at this carefully. One of my favorite airlines, United, they are launching something called Premium Economy. So that's going to be what you used to get for economy, but now you get less so that they can give you a cheap flight, a cheap price, and be competitive. Now for a higher price, you can get what used to be economy. So the couple of inches of leg room and some of the other things that they took away, you can now get back. And I think with the Premium Economy, they promise not to beat you up as well. So that remains to be seen, because obviously United has a bit of a history of kicking and throwing their customers down. So I don't know how that's going to all work out, but we will see. Another interesting story I saw, let's switch over to hotels. I like to keep you up to date on what's going on in the hotel industry and the hotel business. And this relates to a chain that I have not frequented. Somebody who I work with, it's his favorite chain. It's moderately priced. He happens to have been a cigarette smoker, and I guess that they are liberal with having smoking rooms available. So, and the prices were reasonable, so he liked to stay there. But he claims that he's very happy that he always gets a good, clean room at the right price, and it makes him happy. And this brand that I'm talking about is La Quinta. And it seems that La Quinta has been acquired by Wyndham now. And Wyndham seems to like that, less expensive kind of, price range, where La Quinta is not even their lowest priced group, because they also own, I think, what was it? They own a ton of brands, like 21 different brands. But they also own brands such as Super 8 and Days Inn, which I guess La Quinta is a step up from that. But they just obviously they saw this as a money-making opportunity. They paid $1.95 billion for about 900 different properties that they're going to be managing. Not necessarily own. They're going to be like the franchisor and the management company, and I guess obviously there's independent owners that own the different locations that these guys will be managing. But there must be some good money in it if they can afford to pay almost $2 billion for that little purchase. So good luck to them. Don't count on me staying there anytime soon to review it, because it's just not my style. But I will find out from my friend who stays there frequently if this change in ownership does anything to change anything that he's been enjoying. All right, I think what we're going to do is we are going to take one final break. Of course, I've got a couple of deals. Have I got a deal for you? So if you want to go away and you don't want to spend too much and you want to go far away even, I got stuff. So stay tuned. You're going to love it for more of the Golf and Travel Show. Be right back.
Well, it's a big show. Oh, it's a big bad show tonight. Oh, baby, come on.
And we are back, and yep, that's it. I'm getting ready for that big show next week, the PGA Merchandise Show, and by next Friday it'll all be over for me, and I'll report on it all to you so that you can kind of share in it. That song was actually Crank It Up by Brand New Sin, and I think that song was used for WWE, actually, is where they use that song, but I borrowed it. I'll admit it. All right, well, this is the part of the show that many of you are always waiting for. I get a lot of feedback that people like this part of the show because I find deals and I dig a little bit deeper than most people and know where to go to find them, although usually they all come from TravelZoo because that's my favorite place to go, and tonight is no exception. So all of you could do it, but they got so many deals that they list there. I kind of like to find the best of the best, and I'm pretty good at that so that you don't have to go through all the trouble and spend your time doing it. So as typical, I usually try and stay with first up the closest to here, the shortest distance, and then go to the furthest away. And I always have to apologize because my geography is not always perfect, but we will see. So, but believe it or not, sometimes I start as close as, like right here in Boca Raton for, like a weekend getaway. Or for a place for your guests who are coming in from out of town, or for any of those who are listening, like my friend Dave, the mandolin player from New York. But tonight, our first deal is not so close. It's actually in Spain. A little trip to, Barcelona. I've never been there, but some people I know, my buddy Jorge, he says it's one of his favorite places to go. He loves to go to Spain, goes there all the time. And this is just a short getaway. It is a 3-night trip. It's found on TravelZoo. The tour provider is a company called Fleetway. I am not familiar with them, so I can't endorse them, so do your homework. But this looks like a pretty good deal to me. So what you're going to do is you're going to get round-trip flights from the U.S., and that would be at the cheapest price from Boston, Newark, or Oakland in January or February. For a tiny bit more, they got March dates, about $50 more, $100 more April or May, and for a little bit more, you can also leave from Fort Lauderdale if you're down here in South Florida. This package starts at as little as $489, though. So it includes the round-trip flights from where I just said. Carry-on luggage is included. You don't have to pay extra. 3 nights at a city center hotel that's been well reviewed. You get breakfast every day. It includes all the taxes and all the fees. All of that for $489. There was a time that you could not just fly round trip to Spain for $489. Now, not only can you fly there, but you get your hotels, you get your breakfast, you get your luggage, and you get taxes and fees included. So if you ask me, that certainly qualifies for one of Dan's deals. So you might want to check that out on TravelZoo. You may not want to wait, though. Let's see, you need to book this by January 31st. So you got a little bit of time, but these deals do sometimes sell out sooner. So my advice is don't wait too long. Next up, a place that I've been to once, part of it at least, and that would be Italy. And I've actually, where I was not too far from this. This is Umbria, Italy. And this is for you foodies. If you're into Italian food, this is an area that's about 2 hours north of Rome. The region is called the country's Green Heart. It's known for its medieval hill towns, dense forests, and local cuisine. Particularly foraged truffles and wines. Who doesn't like truffles and wine? I mean, I know I do. And I'm not even a mushroom fan, but truffles, it's a little bit different. So this, again, found on TravelZoo, through Great Value Vacations. We're talking about, a spring trip for 5 nights. Let's see, what does it include? Round trip economy airfare to Rome. And I don't know where that is from. That is from JFK in New York. Like I said, that is in the spring. You can go a little bit later in the year for a little bit extra, I believe, as well. Push it back. This is for $899 in April. It's $999 in May out of New York. I'm sure you can also switch to a different airport if you prefer for a fee. So you get your airfare, you get a manual shift economy car rental for the whole time you're there. You can upgrade for a little bit extra if you want it automatic. You get 5 nights in Umbria at a place called, hope I don't mess this up, Abbazia de Colomedio. And breakfast every day. You get a cooking class. You get a 3-course dinner at the hotel. You get a wine tasting at a nearby vineyard. All of that starting at as little as $899. So if you're like me, and, I like to eat more than I like to drink. I don't mind the drinking, but obviously when you're in Italy, the caliber of food is just incredible. You can also add an extra 2-night stay in Frascati at Villa Mercedi or similar with breakfast for an extra $200 per person, so that's not bad either. Italy is a place that traditionally has always been very expensive. This hotel, by the way, before it was a hotel, it was a monastery. When I went to Italy many years ago, northern Italy, I stayed in a monastery. It was from the 1500s. They had original frescoes on the wall. It was just magnificent. So I wish I could get back to Italy. I don't know when I'm going to get back to Italy, but it is a dream to get back because if you talk to anybody who's gone to Italy, Italy is just amazing. So I highly recommend it. And this particular trip, like I say, it's $899 found on TravelZoo. You need to book it by January 26th, so you better hurry. You don't have a lot of time. And have something to eat and drink for me while you're there. A part of the country or a part of the world that I hadn't been to until recently when I went to Thailand, which would be Asia. This is a trip to nearby Vietnam. I know some world travelers who think that Vietnam is like the best place on earth to go to. The people supposedly are not only very industrious, but extremely friendly, considering that we, our history with Vietnam, it's a little bit strange at times, but they love us over there and they treat us well, and, it's inexpensive, to stay there. You can get some good deals in Asia. So here's one of them, again, found on TravelZoo via Gate One Travel. This is a trip for 10 nights in upscale hotels and flights. You're going to go to Ho Chi Minh City, Hoi An, Hue, Ha Long Bay, and Hanoi. So you're going to see a lot of the country. It includes your international flights, which I'm assuming is probably out of, I don't know, maybe L.A. or something. I can't seem to find it, but it probably is not out of Fort Lauderdale, I can tell you that. But you can always upgrade and change. 4-star hotels, an English-speaking tour manager, all tour entrance fees, 14 meals, 10 breakfasts, 1 lunch, and 3 dinners. All transportation within the country, even additional flights that are inside the country, all taxes, fees, and service charges. This trip would normally run about $2,200. It's on sale for $1,299 right now. That is an incredible price for that many nights. This does depart from Los Angeles, so obviously you can upgrade and get a different airline or airport if you want for an additional fee. The dates are April 3rd, 5th, May 8th, September 9th, or 23rd. And you need to book this by January 26th. And again, this will go away pretty quick, so I would not wait until the last minute. Last but not least, and I'm not sure, I think this is further than Vietnam. I could be wrong. Like I say, my geography, I'm not always onto it. And a part of the world I've never been to, a part of the world that I've heard is amazing, and I would love to go to. And this combines several areas, which is pretty cool because this is far away. If you're going to do it, you may as well do it all. And this is a trip to Fiji, Australia, and to New Zealand, actually. This is just airfare, actually. So you can fly from Los Angeles or San Francisco to either Fiji, Australia, or New Zealand. And the cities in Fiji is Nadi. In Australia, either Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, or Adelaide. And in New Zealand, Auckland, Wellington, or Christchurch. So this is just airfare, but to fly, as you can imagine, is not cheap to go to these locations. But you can get airfare on Fiji Airways for as little as $849 round trip. And basically what you could do is you can have a free stopover in Fiji. So you can actually go to Australia or New Zealand with a free stopover in Fiji. So you're going to have, that's pretty cool. Now, I can't speak about the prices and the costs. My guess is it's not as inexpensive as parts of Asia like, Thailand and Vietnam perhaps, but what a great place to go. Obviously, if you like to play golf, there's plenty of golf, especially in Australia and in New Zealand. You can also get a bonus flight to Tonga or Samoa if you want, or if you'd rather go there. They have flights there for about $1,100 round trip. These are for select dates in February through October. It does include checked luggage as well as complimentary in-flight meals, drinks, and entertainment. You got to book it by January 23rd or it will be too late. Want to thank our guest, of course, Mike O'Neill, the Director of Sales for Raw Power. Next week, we're going to have LPGA Top 50 teacher Tiffany Fawcett. You're not going to want to miss it. Plus, I'll tell you all about the show. Go to Facebook.com/The Golf and Travel Show. Like it, and then you will be kept up to date on all of our guests. I'll be talking to you when I get back from Orlando next Friday. Looking forward to it.
Escaping home, where my music's playing home, where my love lies waiting silently for me.
You have been listening to the Golf and Travel Show, hosted by Dan Shub, heard live every Friday, 7 to 8 p.m. on 1470 WWNN, and replayed every Sunday from 6 to 7 p.m. on 740 a.m. WSBR. Visit the show on Facebook and tune in next week. If you are in South Florida or traveling the world, hit 'em straight. The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Me and my old lady ain't been getting along. Things don't get better, I'll soon be long gone. This situation is driving me insane. Somebody touch my coat and hat and my walking cane. Gotta put on my traveling shoes. Gotta put on my...
As far back as she can remember, Amy loved computers. How they worked, what they could do. They were a challenge. She wanted to learn as much as she could. So she harnessed her passion, and now she's a cybersecurity officer in the military. If you have a passion, a vision for your future in any field, todaysmilitary.com can be your path to a fulfilling career. You have a calling, we have an answer. Find your way at todaysmilitary.com.
Lupus. It's one of the cruelest, most mysterious diseases on Earth. Lupus strikes without warning, can ravage any part of the body, and has no known cause and no known cure. Its health effects range from a skin rash to a heart attack. Lupus is an unpredictable and misunderstood disease that's difficult to diagnose, hard to live with, and a challenge